mynews.studio.
In Brazil, cash transfers helped many families escape poverty, but I keep wondering, can a single program make that kind of difference across an entire continent?
And if we look at Indonesia, how did a country with 270 million people reach its lowest poverty rate ever? By the way, today is November 5th, 2025.
Let's start with Latin America. The region's just recorded its lowest ever poverty rates. Brazil stands out, largely because of Bolsa Familia. That's their conditional cash transfer program, right?
Right, and conditional is important. Families get direct payments, but only if their kids go to school, get vaccinated, and have regular health checkups. Why do you think they attach these requirements?
It's about breaking the cycle. If you just give cash, you solve short-term needs. But linking the money to health and education, it's an investment in the next generation. That's really what created change over time.
So it's not just about smoothing out people's consumption from month to month. It's really about building human capital. The idea is that healthier, better educated kids are less likely to be poor adults.
Exactly. And Brazil isn't the only example. Indonesia's Program Keluarga Harapan, or PKH, does something similar. Families get cash, but only if their children keep attending school and have regular health care.
Indonesia's poverty rate is now 9%. That's its lowest ever. But there's a catch. How do we define poverty?
Good point. Indonesia uses its own national poverty line, which is based on minimum consumption needs. But if you use the World Bank's higher international poverty line, suddenly, more than 60% of Indonesians count as poor.
That's a huge gap. Why does the choice of poverty line matter so much?
If the bar is set too low, you might declare victory while millions remain vulnerable. Governments could think the problem's solved, but people might still be at risk, especially if there's a crisis, like inflation or a health emergency. Higher standards remind us that low poverty isn't the same as no risk.
And that vulnerability is a big concern in Latin America, too. Many people are just above the poverty line. One setback and they could fall right back under.
That's where resilience comes in. It's not enough to lift people out of poverty. Programs need to help them stay out. That means stronger safety nets, more inclusive job opportunities, and targeted support for the most at-risk groups.
And let's not overlook inequality. Poverty rates might drop, but gaps remain. Job quality, gender disparities, and access to services.
Absolutely. And if other countries want to replicate these successes, it's not just a matter of copying the programs. They need to tailor policies to local realities and keep tracking who's still being left behind.
So the main takeaway is, targeted cash transfers can work, but the challenge isn't over. The real question is how to balance immediate help with long-term resilience.
And how do we measure real progress? Are we genuinely reducing poverty or just moving the goalposts?
It's a hopeful story, but it doesn't mean we can relax. These gains are real, but the work continues.
So what's the lesson for others? Invest in social programs, yes, but always keep asking who might be slipping through the cracks, and be ready to adjust as you go.
That's the essence. Practical steps, real outcomes, but there's no shortcut to lasting change.
Today we've seen how bold policies made a difference in Latin America and Indonesia, but the fight against poverty isn't finished.
Thanks for joining us as we explored the facts, the policies, and the challenges ahead.
Thank you for tuning in. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. You can try it now for free.